Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So we are coming to the last class, the consummation, or I can call it the closure, Mangala closure of the Vivekachudamani classes. And we are seeing the summary of the selected verses of Vivekachudamani text. The text itself we completed in the last class. Now we are looking at the summary. And as I mentioned, I have divided this summary into 5 portions. And I am giving a summary of each part or each topic. What are the 5 portions? Avatarika or introductory verses. Then the second topic was 7 questions and answers. The third topic, Jiva Ishvara Aikya Vichara hai. Fourth one was Jnana Phalam. And the fifth one is Upasamhara or conclusion. And we discussed the introductory verses running from verse number 1 to 24 in the last class. Now we are now in discussion the second part dealing with 7 questions and answers. And in that also, we have completed a summary of 5 questions. So now we go to the question number 6. Paramaha ka Atma. That is the 6th question of the student. He says, if the body, mind, etc. are really not the self, but as you say are mistaken as the self, then what is the real self? The real I. You say Atma. What is that Atma? And the best method to identify the real I is this. What is that? The word I is one which continues throughout my life. Anything else may change, but the I does not change. So this I continues changelessly, non-variably. Body changes, mind changes, sense organs change, brain changes, punya papam change, everything in the individual is changing, but not the word I. Aham, aham, aham. I am, I am, I am. This does not change. So what is the real I? The real I is the non-variable I. The word I continues. Therefore, if the word I is non-variable or changeless, then that real I must refer to something in me which is also non-changing. How can the changeless I refer to the changing Stula, Sukshma and Karana Shariram? And therefore, we should look for something which is changelessly available throughout our life. And Shankaracharya says, there is only one thing which is changelessly available throughout our life, and that is the consciousness principle, which is aware of the changing conditions of the body, mind, sense organs. It is aware of everything. Avastatraya Sakshi. Even the three states of existence change, isn't it? Sometimes waking state, sometimes dream state, sometimes deep sleep state. That also is changing. And in each state, the time and space are also changing, isn't it? In fact, it is said that when we dream, the dream sleep lasts for hardly a few minutes. To us, it looks like as if it is a full life we are going through the dream, isn't it? So the time and space elements also is different in a dream state as compared to the waking state. Of course, in deep sleep state, time and space are resolved. Everything is resolved, time and space also gets resolved. So mind-boggling changes happen throughout our life. Even time and space change when we go from one state to another state. But even then, I am there as the illuminator of all the three states. Especially I am there as the illuminator of the deep sleep state. I am the Sakshi. I witness all the states. Changelessly, I witness all the states. All changes I witness. Because in deep sleep state, even the mind is resolved. So what I do, I register that in the Karana Shariram. Because Karana Shariram is there in deep sleep state. Sukshma Shariram is resolved. Stula Shariram is resolved. But Karana Shariram is there. So, my witnessing the deep sleep state, I register it in the Karana Shariram. And in the waking, when the mind comes back, it becomes active again, I am able to recollect the sleep. I am able to access the data which is saved in the Karana Shariram. And then I am able to say, I slept, I dreamt, I am awake, etc. So this witness consciousness is common in all three states. I am within inverted comma is common. And therefore, I am the consciousness principle. And this changeless consciousness cannot be a part of the changing, dying, decaying body, mind, sense complex. So the question is, how can a non-dying, non-changing consciousness be a part of the changing mortal body? It cannot be. And in this context, we talked about the five-featured consciousness as the Atma. What are the five features? Consciousness is not a part, product, or property of the three Sharirams. First point. Second feature, consciousness is an independent principle which pervades and makes them alive. Pervades the all living beings and make them alive and sentient. Third point, consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of the body. Fourth point, consciousness survives even when the body dies. And the fifth point, the pure consciousness by itself is not available for any form of transaction since the transacting medium is absent. And therefore, we need a body, mind, sense complex to transact. So the pure consciousness also needs a body, mind, sense complex to transact with the world. The nearest example is the deep sleep state. Even with Karana Shariram, consciousness is not available for transaction. During sleep, you cannot say, I am sleeping. So even when, if the Karana Shariram is also gone, how can pure consciousness be available? Therefore, the absolute, transcendental and non-transactional consciousness is my real nature. These particular features of consciousness are my real self. Atma must be very clearly understood. And for that, there is only one pramana, which is Shastra pramana, Vedanta pramana. There is no other source of knowledge for this. And that consciousness is available for transaction when it is pervading the Sharira Trayam. That consciousness is available for self-awareness. So, self-awareness is functional consciousness for which the body, mind, sense complex is required. Non-functional consciousness means even self-awareness is not there. So, Paramaha Atma, the supreme self, the real self is consciousness, the five-featured consciousness. This is what the Acharya explained to the student. And with this, the sixth question is also answered. Then the student raises another question. Tayor vivekah katamedat uchyatam. Now, it's all very well. You are told about Atma, you are told about Anatma, everything fine. How to differentiate Atma and Anatma? Because they are so intimately together. I have not been and I am not able to separate the body from consciousness. Because if it were separable, then the Guru could have done that and then demonstrated this is how you have to separate. Look, Atma is here and body is here. I have separated. That is not possible. So we require an intellectual separation, which is a discriminative exercise. And for this, Shruti gives two methods. One is Shruti Pramanam, another is Yukti Pramanam. Veda helps us to differentiate them. We saw in Taittiriya Panchakosha Viveka, Veda says, you are not Annamaya, you are not Pranamaya, you are not Manomaya. Anyontara Atma is the real you. So when Shankaracharya talks about this Atma Anatma Viveka, he introduces Panchakoshas. The three Sharirams are reintroduced as Panchakoshas. And we have gone through that Panchakoshas in detail. Thus, one method is Neti method. You are not this, you are not the Panchakosha, you are not Annamaya, Pranamaya, na iti. That method is given by Veda. The second method is Yukti Pramana. What is Yukti Pramanam? Use of logic. Shankaracharya gave many reasonings, and the most prominent and primary reasoning is called Drik Drishya Viveka. Using a very important law, I am different from whatever I experience. I experience the table, so I am not the table. I experience the laptop, so I am not the laptop. I experience my shirt, so I am not the shirt. Then this logic, once you have understood, you have accepted this logic that what you experience, you are not. You apply that to Panchakoshas. I experience my body. I experience my sense organs. Experience here means internally I know whether my sense organs are working or not. Sometimes we say, no, my mind is all clouded, my brain is not working. So I experience the non-working brain also. I can also we say, no, I'm not able to see clearly. So when you see clearly also you experience, when you don't see clearly also you experience. As you grow old, you experience, all along you have been hearing very well. As you grow old, you experience that your ears are not functioning properly. All these are all you are experiencing, and which are all part of what the Panchakoshas. Thus, all the Panchakoshas up to the Karana Shariram or Anandamaya Kosha, I experience. And in deep sleep state, I experience the Karana Shariram and register that experience also in the Karana Shariram. So I experience the Karana Shariram through the Karana Shariram itself because that is the only one which is available. And register it also. That means what? Karana Shariram also I am experiencing. So Karana Shariram also becomes an object of experience. And it is experience as total blankness or avidya. And I, the observer, am different from all the observed things, all the objects of experience. So I am Panchakosha Vilakshana, Shariratraya Vilakshana. Vilakshana means different from Avastatraya Sakshi. So I am the witness, the observer of all Anatma. So by this method, we have to differentiate and note that I use the body, mind, sense complex for transactions, but I am not the body, mind, sense complex. This is how you do Atma, Anatma, Viveka. And if you have done this itself is a huge progress. So once I have known the answer to all the 7 questions, I have qualified myself for the next stage of inquiry, the extended inquiry. So with this, the answers to the 7 questions is complete. Verse number 25 to 60. With this, part 2 is complete. Now part 3. Part 3, Shankaracharya discusses a very core topic, Jiva Ishvara Aikya Vicharaha. That runs from verse number 61 to 82. And that is the extended inquiry. As I said, it is in fact the most important inquiry, which is called Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Jiva means the created individual, and Ishvara means the creator God. The created individual and the creator God are one and the same according to the Veda. And Veda reveals this in all the Upanishads by using an appropriate sentence. That revealing sentence is called Mahavakyam. And the most popular Mahavakyam is what? Tattvamasi. So the next inquiry from verses 61 to 82 is Jiva Ishvara Aikya Vicharaha or Mahavakya Vicharaha. And as I said, very important portion, the central theme. It is the central theme of all the teaching. But how do we know which is the central teaching? Because Veda contains so many topics, so many stories, Upanishads and all, lot of stories are there. So how to identify the central theme? Of course, Vivekachudamani Shankaracharya doesn't discuss that. But let us briefly, I will explain that. There is a Mimamsa method. Mimamsa means the science of Vedic interpretation. And that is a method to identify the central portion of any Vedic knowledge, which is called Tatparya. For that, we make use of 6 markers. They are the clues. They are called Shadlingani. It is used in Brahma Sutra. 4th Sutra is there. Tattu Samanvayat. It is very elaborately discussed in Brahma Sutra. So by using these 6 clues, we come to know that the central theme is Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. Therefore, we have to focus all our attention to understand this portion very clearly. Shankaracharya conducts this as an extended inquiry. And what is the gist of that inquiry? The wonderful slokas are there, We cannot unfortunately go through all of them because this is a summary. We have already seen all those inquiry in the regular classes. So the approach is the starting point, I would say. The created individual and the creator Ishvara can never be equal on superficial observation. Isn't it? This is acceptable to all. On superficial observation, we cannot say I am Ishvara. All acharyas accept that because the created individual has got so many limitations. The individual is a miserable jiva. But God is all powerful. Ishvara is omniscient and omnipotent. Ananta Kalyana Gunaika Nilaya. Beautiful one song is there. All auspicious virtues are there in Ishvara. And therefore, Jiva and Ishvara are not equal if we superficially observe. Vedanta also admits that. And therefore, Vedanta says, don't take the popular meaning. The primary meaning of these 2 words, Tat and Tvam, don't take that primary meaning. Tat means you, Tvam means Ishvara. But instead, you go to the contextual meaning, the spiritual meaning intended by the Upanishad while employing the Mahavakyam. The Upanishad has got a clear intention. It wants to convey something very important. So on analysis, we discover that the inferior qualities of the individual and the superior qualities or virtues of Ishvara are not intrinsic to either. They are not intrinsic. Rather, the intrinsic nature of both Jiva and Ishvara is only one and the same principle. This is just as we discovered before that behind changing Jiva, there is changeless consciousness. Similarly, behind the changing Ishvara also, there is changing consciousness because God is also changing. How you ask, how does God change? He is Srishtikarta, Sthitikarta, Layakarta. Active God during Srishti, passive God during Pralayam. We don't say Bhagavan is sleeping, we say Bhagavan is in Yoga Nidra. When we sleep, we call it Nidra. When Bhagavan sleeps, we call it Yoga Nidra. But whatever your name, Bhagavan also changes from active to passive and passive to active. Therefore, behind the changing Bhagavan also, there must be one changeless principle, which alone can be called the real Bhagavan. So, just as the real Jiva is I, the consciousness principle, similarly, the real Bhagavan is the consciousness behind his medium of transaction. Just as I, the Jiva, uses the three bodies as medium of transaction, similarly, Bhagavan also does all the transaction through an appropriate medium, which is called Maya. Maya makes Bhagavan Karta Bhokta. But the real Bhagavan is consciousness, the all-pervading consciousness. That is Bhagavan. By himself, the real Bhagavan cannot do anything, but he does everything endowed with these skills and powers because of Maya. And therefore only, when you look at the body of Jiva and the Maya of Bhagavan, there are infinite differences. Shankaracharya gave 4 examples. Khadyodha Bhanvaha Iva, example of the glowworm and the sun. Raja Brityayoho Iva, the king and the servant. Kupa Amburashayoho Iva, example of well and ocean. Paramanu Mervoho Iva, the difference between atom and mountain. Like each member of the 4 pairs is different from the other, if you compare the body of yours and the Maya of Ishvara, you will see only differences. When you see the differences, the all-powerful, mighty, omniscient, omnipotent Paramatma or Ishvara, and look at yourself, you have to say Dasoham and do Namaskara only. Isn't it? But Vedanta wants to convey another information. Differences we already know, we can observe, we can perceive the differences. But there is one non-difference also. And Vedanta wants to highlight that singular, very important non-difference from the standpoint of consciousness. Because consciousness, which is beyond time and space, is indivisible. There is no small or big consciousness. There is only one all-pervading consciousness which pervades everything. It pervades the Jiva, it pervades the Ishvara, it pervades the entire Prapancha. And it is that consciousness, that all-pervading one consciousness gets the name of Jiva when it is pervading the body, which alone is called Ishvara when it is pervading the Maya. So if you remove the Shariram and Maya mentally, intellectually, cognitively, consciousness is like space. It is one indivisible whole. And therefore, from the medium angle, from the Upadhi angle, Jiva and Ishvara are different. But from the angle of their essential nature, they are non-different. We used 2 words, Upadhi and Upahitam. So, Upadhi Drishtya Bheda hai, Upahita Drishtya Abheda hai. Then comes the last question. Does that mean that the difference is also there and non-difference is also there between Jiva and Ishvara? So, there is Bheda and there is Abheda also. Then should it not be Bheda Bheda? In fact, there are so many schools of philosophy called Bheda Abheda Vada. Even the ISKCON philosophy is Bheda Bheda Vada only. They are very balanced people. They accept both Veda and Abheda. And their complaint is, you Advaitins are only highlighting the Aikyam and you are excluding the Bheda, the difference. And they say that they say we are all very partial, biased, unfair. For that, we give the following answer. Very, very important. Shankaracharya refutes all these in his Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. And this is how we refute all the Bheda Vadas. We say Bheda or difference belongs to Mithya Prapancha. Because Maya is also unreal from the standpoint of consciousness. What is unreal? That which changes is unreal. For us, our definition of real is that which is changeless. So all the products of Maya, they are also Mithya only. We say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. And in that context, we saw Maya is unreal from the consciousness standpoint. World is unreal, three bodies are unreal. Therefore, Bheda is Mithya Bheda. So you can have Bheda Vada, but you should add an appropriate adjective, Mithya Bheda Satya Bheda Vada Advaitam. And therefore we tell these Bheda Vada people, do not be carried away by unreal consciousness, unreal differences. You use the unreal differences for transactions, all right. Like watching the unreal movie for entertainment, but you don't forget the real screen. Watch the movie, don't forget the screen. Without screen, no movie. Use the upadhi, see this, and seeing the differences, transact, no problem. But in and through all transaction, Pashyan, Srinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapanshwasan. Do not forget, Aham Akarta, Abhokta, Nitya Mukta, Brahmasmi. All the actions are what? They are all interplay between the various indriyas. Indriyani indriyateshu vartante iti dharayan. Krishna says, I'm just getting that last bit, not remember. Therefore, aham akarta abhokta nityamukta brahma asmi. Thus, aham brahmasmi, the Aikya Jnanam gives me liberation. In fact, actually speaking, it does not give me liberation. It only helps me to discover the real I, which was never bound to be liberated. The bondage, the samsara bondage I superimposed is by mistake. And all I do is I remove the superimposition and claim the liberation, which was already there. I was Nitya Mukta. And which is there now and which will be there forever. Thus, the knowledge doesn't give me liberation. Knowledge negates the bondage and helps us to claim that liberation as our eternal nature. So the verses 61 to 82 is the most important part of this condensed version of Vivekachudamani. And that means what? Whenever you get an opportunity, must go through these verses again and again and again until all the concepts, all the aspects are very clear. Then we come to the fourth part, Jnana Phalam. This is verse from 83 to 101. Jnana Phalam means the benefit of this knowledge. So the first benefit is Jivan Mukti. The person becomes Jivan Mukta even in this very life, even when he is still using the body. Jivan means living, Mukta means liberated. So a living Jnani is a Jivan Mukta. And Shankaracharya defines or describes the characteristics of a Jivan Mukta as the one who is well established in Jnanam. He is Jnana Nishtha. He has gained the knowledge through Shravanam and Mananam. So though it is not stated in the text, we have seen consistent and systematic study gives me knowledge. Mananam is for removing all doubts that arise in my intellect until I am convinced. And just conviction is not enough. I should internalize that by pushing the conscious knowledge into my subconscious mind. When there are provoking situations, I do not consciously respond. I consciously respond. That is my observation. When they are provoking situation, I don't respond. I react. I react because it comes automatically. So pushing that knowledge into the subconscious mind is the process of nididhyasanam. So whenever I am actually facing these provoking situations, I must be able to recall this knowledge, the knowledge which has been assimilated and internalized, and respond to the situations appropriately. And a jnani does that. Such a jnani is, as I said, jnana nishtha sthita pragya. So the first benefit is Jivan Mukta, free from primary bondage called intellectual samsara, self-ignorance and self-misconception, which is reflected in ahankara, in the ego, and which is not there for a jnani. And because ahankara is gone, mamakara, which are all the consequences of ahankara, my wife, my children, my family, all these mistakes born out of ahankara is also gone. Nirmamaha nirahankaraha. Lord Krishna repeats this in Bhagavad Gita. So ahankara and mamakara go away. This is freedom from intellectual samsara. And naturally, raga and dvesha, which are all centered on me and mine, they are diluted. So this me, mine, aham, mama refer to intellectual samsara. Raga, dvesha refer to emotional samsara. So these four dushta chatushtayam, ahankara, mamakara, raga and dvesha, these fourfold toxins are removed. Therefore, in the worst provoking situation, a jnani's conviction is that I am free will never be challenged. Jnana Nishtha means my conviction that I am ever free is never challenged by any wrong or worst provoking situations. And since Raga, Dvesha are either removed or made non-binding, emotional samsara is also gone. FIR reduction takes place. I hope you all remember what is FIR. F stands for frequency of emotional disturbances. I stands for intensity of emotional disturbances. And R for recovery period after emotional disturbances. The F and I come down and R goes up. The recovery, all three come down. Recovery period is also coming down. Intensity comes down, frequency comes down, recovery also come down, all three come down, reduced. And therefore, most of the time a jnani is balanced. He enjoys samatvam. So this is called Jivan Mukti. FIR reduction is a practical benefit. So the jnani's body will continue until the prarabdha karma is there. And when the prarabdha karma is exhausted, the jnani dies. Jnani dies means we call it he attains samadhi. Physically or from the standpoint of the body, he dies. he becomes Videha. Previously, he was Sadeha Jnani. Now, on his death, he becomes Videha Jnani. Then what will happen to him? Normally, when other people die, they become Videha, all right, but they will take another body. Punarapi Jananam happens. In the case of Jnani, he does not take another body. This is called Videhasya Jnaninaha Muktihi. Freedom from rebirth. He gets Videha Mukti because Prarabdha is exhausted. What about all the other stored karmas? That also we studied. His Sanchita karma is burned by Jnanam, self-knowledge. What is the Pramanam? Shastra is the only Pramanam. Because we cannot keep on asking what is the proof of this, what is the means of knowledge. Because all this karma also only Shastra talks about that there is karma. So if you ask what is the means of knowledge that this is all destroyed, first question should be what is the means of knowledge that you get all this Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, etc. That also only Shastra talks about. So if you accept that, you should accept this also as Shastra Pramana. All these are aparushaya vishaya. So, with regard to aparushaya vishaya, we have to go by Shastra only. So, Shastra says Jnanam destroys Sanchita karma because Shastra says so. So, I have got to have Shraddha in the Shastra as part of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Therefore, I accept Shastra Pramana. Thus, Sanchita karma is burned. What about Agami? Agami is avoided because a Jnani does not have Kartritva Bhavana or selfish motive behind his actions. Being non-selfish, his actions will not produce any Agami. Thus, Sanchitam is burned, Agami is avoided, Prarabdham is exhausted. Therefore, at the time of death, his karma balance will show nil or zero. So Bhagavan will look at his Maya computer. And since Jnani doesn't have any karma balance, his Stula Shariram merges into Samasti Stula Prapancham, otherwise called Virat. Sukshma Shariram merges into total Sukshma Prapancham, otherwise called Hiranyagarbha. And Karana Shariram merges into Karana Prapancham called Maya or Antaryami Ishvara. So in technical language, Vishwa merges into Virat, Taijasa merges into Hiranyagarbha, and Pragya merges into Antaryami. All this we have seen in Tattva Bodha. So if you want to revisit them, go to Tattva Bodha notes. So all the individual components merge into the totality. What happens to the consciousness? Don't ask. Of course, for sake of saying, we can say the individual consciousness merges into total consciousness. But that word merges, individual and total are only within inverted commas. Because at the consciousness level, there is no individual total merging. The seemingly individual consciousness merges seemingly into total consciousness without undergoing any change or motion. And we saw the example of pot space and the total space. Seemingly merging, pot space seemingly merging into total space when the pot is broken. There is no actual merger taking place. Only the upadhi is gone. There is only one space or only one consciousness. So this is called Videha Mukti. And if you ask whether a Jnani will remain in the world, we will say Jnani remains as Brahman and Ishvara. Saguna Nirguna Brahman Rupena Jnani remains. Therefore, there is no question of disappearance. There is no extinction. He survives as Ishvara or Brahman. So with this, the Jnana Phalam topic of Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti are also completed. But Shankaracharya adds a note. The difference between Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti is only from the standpoint of the world. from the standpoint of the empirical world. From Jnani's own standpoint, he always knows that I as Atma am Akarta, Abhokta. I do not have any connection to any karma. I do not have connection to the body. I am ever Mukta hai. So Jivan Mukti, Videya Mukti are all labels. From an Ajnani standpoint, as far as I am concerned, I am neither Jivan Mukta nor Videya Mukta. I am Nitya Mukta hai. This is from Jnani standpoint. So, Jivan Mukti, Videya Mukti is from Ajnani standpoint, and Nitya Mukta is from Jnani standpoint. And Shankaracharya gives all these three, very important. This is Jnana Phalam. Then Upasamhara, part 5, verse number 102 to 108, conclusion. Here we find the Shishya telling the Guru, because the whole thing is a form of a dialogue, right? He tells the Guru, I got the knowledge. Guru is also happy. Shishya takes leave of the Guru, and the Guru goes, Shishya goes his way, Guru goes his way. The dialogue comes to a close. And Shankaracharya concludes by saying that this Vivekachudamani is like life-giving water for a desperately thirsty person caught in the middle of a desert at noon under the scorching sun. He compares a samsari, Ajnani samsari, to a person who is in a desert, found in a desert under a scorching sun, who is very thirsty and is looking for water. Of course, I will not repeat the whole story, it will take more time. So it is the liberating wisdom for the samsari jiva, the seeker of moksha. So with this, the fifth and final topic of Upasamhara is also over. That completes with the blessings of all the Bhagavan, Lord Dakshinamurti, Devi Saraswati, all Guru Parampara, especially Puja Swamiji, Swami Paramathananda ji, my own gurus, Swami Sadatmananda ji. We have been able to successfully complete this Vivekachudamani study, and let us continue to pray to all these Jnanis and Bhagavan to bless us with further opportunities to study more and more of Vedantic scriptures. Harihi Om. I will now say the prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Indeed, very grateful to all of you for having given me this opportunity to teach this text. It has really been really wonderful. I have enriched myself a lot by teaching you, because I have to first do Shravanam and Mananam before I come to teaching. And teaching I consider as Nididhyasana. So all these 76 classes, what I have been doing is only Nididhyasana. It has refreshed my mind of what I have learned. Thank you all very much for that.
Thank you. We have enriched ourselves, we have learned, and you have put us in a path which I hope we sustain and learn further.
You have to pray, keep praying for that sustenance of that.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji, for doing so much for us. So blessed. Purvajanma Punya and blessings of elders that to get this knowledge from a guru like you. You have taken us through not only the knowledge, but how to achieve the knowledge in a step-by-step way. And it is with your blessings and all your guru's blessings, we hope to achieve that knowledge sooner than later.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
Hari Om.
I have one or two questions, but they're not of very great relevance because it's more like questions of a teenager to the parents.
No, you can ask any question. No question is irrelevant question in my view.
No, in the sense like one of the a long time ago, there used to be a lot of talk about this knowledge on the, I think it used to be Samskara channel, or there used to be some other channel where gurus used to talk on this Vedantic knowledge in a broad sense, not in a very deep sense like how it is covered here. And there they used to say, in Vedantic knowledge, if you ask why we don't have answers. Like I was like, don't ask why God has created the universe, and don't ask why this happened, why that happened. If you ask how, then we have answer. Vedanta can give you an answer. So I have a strange of why question, that such a beautiful knowledge, such a great knowledge only brings you mukti, brings a human being the mukti. And but the knowledge is so intricate, the path is intricate, the knowledge is intricate, and just as you think you are getting the graph puppet, and then it runs away from you, and then again you seek, but only after you get this knowledge and internalize it and then get the real jnanam, only then you are free from the cycle of birth and death. Until then, you keep on coming back in this world to suffer again and again. But it appears very merciless game of the creator. It appears very like we have a song in Kannada where Brahmandave Brahmanaduva Bombay Atavaya, like it which says that it's a doll's play for the whole Brahmanda is the doll's play of the creator. Sometimes you are thrown into fire, sometimes you are thrown into deep water, but then until you get the knowledge, only when you get the knowledge you start enjoying the game. But then why is it being made so difficult? Is it just with the Jnana Yoga, or is it?
The basic premise itself you have to understand. All this difficulty that you are talking about, that we experience, and that somebody is creating this difficulty, the question of why comes there, right? What is the crux of that knowledge? I am the creator, isn't it? I am the Ishvara. So, if you want to ask why, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this to yourself?
No, once the knowledge has come, then it appears.
What is the knowledge? Oh, that knowledge has to come. So what you have to do? You say you are Ishvara. I am the creator. If I say, then I have to actually understand how I can call myself the creator. Correct?
But
Now,
my question is regarding to get to that knowledge.
To get to that knowledge, you have to see the knowledge is not like, this is here. So you from here to you go here and down. Actually, what is that knowledge? As I said, knowledge is nothing. The knowledge is already there. You have to remove the ignorance. It is that like the sun is already shining, but it is covered by a very dark, thick cloud. What all these studies do is blow lot of air for the clouds to move away so that the sun shines. Because we are not gathering knowledge. This knowledge is already there. I am. Knowledge is already there. Isn't it? That I exist.
Yes.
That knowledge is there.
Yes, Guruji.
Yeah. So you have to, that is what Nidityasanam is all about. All this teaching, knowledge is there. All the teaching does is removing the ignorance, which is what we call as intellectual samsara, the self-misconception and the self-ignorance. So, if you ask why all this is happening to me, I will say all that is happening to you is all mithya. It is an appearance. Nothing is happening to you actually. You are assuming that something is happening to you. That you are being thrown into oil, you are being thrown this and all that. Nothing is actually happening. You are just experiencing like
Person.
you are experiencing a film or a drama or something like that. That is going on. And because you are taking it as real, all your problems are there. Emotional problems are there, and then all health problems. I will say, if you take them all as mithya, nothing is happening. But again, I agree with you that to reach that stage, you have to go through this. So fine, no problem. Like for example, when you say consciousness is Brahman and Brahman is all pervading, and we will see in Mundaka Upanishad also that Brahman is the real God. Even Bhagavad Gita last week we discussed. The real God is
Yes.
Brahman, correct?
Yeah.
The question is now, why then temples? If real God is Brahman, then who is this Krishna, Rama, Shiva, Vishnu? Who are all these people? Maybe that is what we are doing every day, going to the temple or at our house itself. We are doing prayer. Navaratri is coming. Every 9 days, the Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati and all, we are going to celebrate. What is all this about? If you ask, then we say, Krishna himself will explain. That is the starting point. Ekarupa Ishvara, you start with one Vishnu, one Rama, one Krishna, one Durga, one Lakshmi and all. Then you graduate to what? Vishwarupa Ishvara, Anekarupa Ishvara, you see Bhagavan in everything. So then you don't confine yourself only to a temple Bhagavan or the Bhagavan at your house in altar. Everything that is there in the universe, you see Bhagavan. After that, what is the next stage? The next stage is you say, whatever I am experiencing is not real Bhagavan. Real Bhagavan is the one which is pervading all these things.
Which is me.
Which is me. So it is a journey. It can take one lifetime. It can take 10 lifetimes. But to understand that, to assimilate that, to internalize that, it will take time. And all these jnanis that we see today, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi or even, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and all that. What do we know? I mean, how many lives they have been working on this, and this life they have come to this stage? We don't know. So our prayer attempt should be, if it is possible, if I have got that much blessing, let me become a Jivan Mukta in this life itself. If not, Bhagavan, please bless me so that in my next life, I am able to continue this. There should not be any obstacle which should come in between. So please readjust my karma, Sanchita karma order, so that I get a human life, next life, and I continue with this. So this is the process, and we cannot put a date that, okay, this started on this life and so life, you are going to get mukti. Not possible. I mean, it is similarly like there are people we come across who become a jnani in this life itself, and there are others who study for 30 years, 40 years. They are still not able to even get rid of their raga dvesha. Isn't it? What is the basic problem? Raga dvesha is the basic problem. Krishna talks about that again and again. So it's a very complex thing, no doubt. But that is why we study, part by part, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, then all these Vivekachudamani, like Prakarana Granthas and all. So that the message is very clear to us, and whenever we have got these kind of doubts, that get clarified.
Yes, Guruji.
Sorry.
Yes, Guruji. Yes, Guruji. As you said, there's nothing to. All we need to do is dispel the ignorance, because our knowledge is already there by default, and because of because it's covered with ignorance, we suffer, and then it's just dispelling the ignorance, like the dark cloud. You said it is Once that is done, you become a Jnani, and then it is you reach the stage of. So this can happen. One way is that, through the study of Shastras, through the Guru Shishya Parampara, and also by surrendering yourself through total love and devotion to the universe, like how this the bhakti in the Bhakti Marga, so many sons happen, so many dasa parampara, Purandar Dasaya, Sant Kabir, Tulsi Das, or all these people. So it is that also can dispel the ignorance, and then that can give them the.
It will not, ignorance can go only by knowledge, right?
Yeah, that
What can
devotion
bhakti
gives them the
do?
knowledge.
Because for the knowledge to come in, for the ignorance to go, what you have to do? Where is the ignorance sitting? Ignorance is sitting in your mind, in your chittam
Intellect.
and buddhi,
Yeah,
correct?
mind.
So first of all, you have to clean that. You have to clean that place so that the knowledge, when it comes, it can sit in there. Otherwise, when the knowledge comes, all places whole dirty, everything is there. How will the knowledge come and sit there? So this bhakti and all that, this yoga which we talked, we are just discussing in the 6th chapter, everything is for what? For achieving the chitta shuddhi, for cleaning that stable so that the knowledge can come and sit there. Unless that is done, knowledge cannot sit there.
Or the knowledge which is already there will
Correct. So
will shine itself.
When you clean this, the knowledge, what knowledge is already there? The knowledge has to be you. It might be there from your previous janma, that knowledge, because the basic of consciousness itself is knowledge only. That is why Satchid Ananda, Taittiriya Upanishad says what? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So the Chit, consciousness is nothing but Jnanam only.
So which is there by default, isn't it, Guruji?
Which is there by default.
Yeah.
Which is there by default.
So the avidya, which is again anadi, once that is removed by our whatever the method we follow, once the avidya is removed, the jnanam it appears. So the jnanam comes to light.
Avidya, Kama, Karma, all three have to go. Both intellectual samsara and emotional samsara has to go. In fact, by bhakti, you are increasing the emotional samsara. Isn't it? Because you may say I am bhakti and all, like we have got so many stories, the stories of many of these, this Maharashtra, what are they called?
Gyaneshwar, Sant Gyaneshwar.
Sant Gyaneshwar and all. Not only Sant Gyaneshwar, there are other.
Sant Sakkubai,
Yeah.
Bhakta Kumbar.
See, what they did, their stories are they totally neglected their family and things like that and all. Right? There are stories. Their family were begging in the streets for food, and this fellow went singing, the songs of Pandharipur and this all that they say. What happened? They got out of one type of samsara and they got into another type of samsara, which is attachment to Bhagavan, if not attachment to their family. That is not going to give you freedom. So we must understand what is the goal. Goal is liberation. And liberation from what? Liberation from all my sufferings, all my grief, all my samsara related problems. There are two ways to do that. You physically remove all of them, right? Which you cannot do. As long as your body, mind, sense complex is there, let it be mithya. If the body, mind, sense complex is satyam, then the problems are satyam. If the body, mind, sense complex are mithya, then the problems are mithya, right? Because where do all these problems are there? They are at the level of body, mind, sense complex.
Yes.
That's it, right? If some tree is cut, we don't suffer.
No.
Only if there is an injury to our body or some emotional disturbance, we we are suffering, correct? So that is the first level where we have to remove this samsara, and this is all caused by emotional issues.
Okay.
So emotional issues first you address, and your karma yoga helps you to viveka, vairagya, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, right? Mumukshutvam, all these things help you to get rid of emotional samsara. And in that karma yoga, all this comes, Ashtanga yoga, bhakti, everything comes in that. So what you do, you shift the entire thing to one entity, which is Bhagavan, and you have got bhakti. But with that bhakti, you will not get moksha, is the Shastra Pramanam. Shastra says that there is only one way to get moksha, which is through jnanam.
No, I thought probably Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he uses one word called prema bhakti, where you are not seeking anything else out of bhakti except God Himself. So
Exactly.
that kind of prema bhakti
That
dispels the ignorance and gives you the knowledge.
See, jnani, because for us the problem is words create certain orientation. Bhakti means for us only one thing. That you have to pray to God, sing the God's praise, go to temple. That is bhakti, isn't it?
No,
We
Guruji.
talk about jnani bhakti, who doesn't go to a temple at all.
For me, or the way I have understood bhakti is loving God, because just like you love your parents, or
so loving God means what? If I tell you Krishna, Rama, and all are all inferior concepts of God, the superior concept of God is Brahman. So loving God means what? Loving Brahman, it becomes.
Yes, Guruji.
And when you say, I understand Aham Brahmasmi means what? Love for myself. Then once I start loving myself, all other love is included in that.
Yes.
It is not that I am doing away, getting rid of all other love and I am only loving myself. That will become self-conceit and narcissism rather. So when with the knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi, I love myself, means I love the consciousness. I love what I am, what the Shastra is showing the mirror. You are consciousness. You are immortal. You are eternal. You are the most superior thing in the entire world, because the whole world runs because of that consciousness which you are. And I love that consciousness means what? When the entire world is running, everything is within me. Like we saw in the last class, Krishna saying, I am in everybody and everybody is in me. So these are all things which for a normal layman becomes very difficult to appreciate and understand. You require a very sharp intellect, thinking capacity, which is not there for normal people. So the Veda is totally designed for everybody. It starts with all these kind of bhaktis. It starts with karma. It starts with kama. So avidya, kama, karma. It doesn't talk about avidya at all. Veda Purva Bhaga. It gives you this purusharthas, 4 purusharthas. Out of the 3 purusharthas, it gives 80% of the Veda is all about 3 purusharthas. Artha, kama, dharma, everything you do, your life, 80% of your life you do. Once you have done that with the karma yoga attitude, then you graduate to the last part, which is the moksha purushartha, which is addressing the avidya part. So kama karma are addressed in the purva bhaga, avidya part is addressed in the anta bhaga, vedanta bhaga. So that is why in my introduction to Mundaka Upanishad, I will briefly touch upon all these aspects, because when you are studying, why you are studying the Upanishad, you must, everybody should understand, isn't it? It is not that I have nothing better to do today, so I will attend Upanishad class. If that is the attitude, then it's fine. I mean, you can spend your time and then it will make no difference to your life. But if you want to know why I should study Upanishad, then the whole scheme of Vedas have to be presented very briefly, which I will be doing in the introduction to Mundaka Upanishad, right? So it's a lot in that. And you have to actually, these questions which comes in your mind, you have to keep asking yourself first to convince yourself that what is this teaching is the right teaching. They are not, I'm not saying that not relevant questions, they are very relevant questions. And in fact, these questions should come when you go through this teaching, and you should address these questions yourself. Try to find, and if you say, could be this, could be this, could be this answer, finally, if you don't get the answer, then come to a guru or look up at some texts and things like that and get the answer. Because the whole spiritual journey is question answer only.
Yeah.
That is very important. Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
For your patience and for your detailed explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Yes, Ramuji. Hari Om.
Raghuji, as you said, 40, 50 years, I've been listening to Vivekachudamani. First time I listened from 1978, 79 or something, from Puja Swamiji's disciple, Sukabodhananda at Churchgate.
Okay, right.
From that day, I've been listening, and this is a favorite text of mine. And even though I revised 2-3 times by typing Swamiji's full transcription, this was also another revision for me and typing it also.
Correct.
Great,
That is under Nididhyasanam. In fact,
this is Nididhyasanam. That's why we started typing, even Gita transcription and all started doing only for that.
That's true.
And even transcribing the Vivekachudamani, your own classes, and be doing that only. The last 40 days, it's a great opportunity.
Doing, even before going to the ashram, I actually transcribed Swami Paramatmananda's Tattva Bodha and so when you listen it to again and again and again, that message seeps to inside rather.
Yeah, that's why when I started playing Bhagavad Gita in Nananani 1 for 3 days every week, then I thought I should transcribe, and that it started. The last 12 years it is happening without break. Nearly 7-8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours daily. It is happening.
Very great.
It's a great
That's
thing.
why
Thank you.
Must not leave my class. You are
That's why I'm not leaving. That's why I'm doing. Whatever it is, whatever is possible.
Nice
Maximum time is there.
Yeah.
Maximum time is spent on this.
In many aspects, you have been a very good guide to me also, So
No, not that way. But
really
still.
cherish your presence in the class.
Okay, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
And also our interaction outside the class.
Okay, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Okay, if there are no more questions, no more remarks, we will conclude this Vivekachudamani chapter and then move towards.
I would only add integrity is important. Integrity in every aspect of life.
No doubt.
And this also is a part of the integrity. Yes. You are being honest with yourself. You are honest. Yesterday somebody mentioned pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yeah.
So
this
pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional.
Suffering is optional. Correct.
So this is all. So if you say suffering of life, you make it optional, you have achieved your goal.
Yes. Very true. Absolutely a brilliant statement rather. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Because the suffering depends upon how you react to the pain. How you respond to the pain, the suffering is because of that. The pain doesn't cause you suffering rather. So
the non-acceptance worsens it.
Yes, non-acceptance worsens it. True. Very true.
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay,
thank you
all very much.
One minute, Guruji, he wants to talk.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure listening to you and revising Vivekachudamani. Looking forward to Mundaka Upanishad also, Guruji.
Certainly.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful, wonderful class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hari Om.
Guruji.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Thank you.